Yep. All right. So we have our first feature match of the day here. It looks like we have Sirius, who top-aided the last two Hex Bashes on the back of this Lasgar's Vengeanceless Redlings deck.
Lasgar's Vengeanceless.
How do you feel about this Lasgar's Vengeanceless Redlings deck?
So, like, the deck still is doing powerful things. You have, like, some of the most impressive 3-drops, like, the game has to offer. So, I mean...
Notably, Underworld Crusader here in the opener for...
Yeah, and obviously Matriarch of Flames is just... been very good for a very long time. So you're still doing powerful things. You do lose your one-sided sweeper effect, but you can't have it all.
Okay, and it looks like Gar here is playing Kagu. It looks like the Kagu Reanimator deck. We see notable, powerful 7-drop Eternal Seeker here in the opening hand for them. So this is kind of one of the payoff cards for playing this Reanimator strategy with Rotten Rancor. It is a 5/5 evasive troop with flight, and when it comes into play, it voids all cards of the chosen number, so it's kind of like this bomb sweeper combo, and in conjunction with Rotten Rancor, it can kind of clean up the entire board.
Yeah, I think basically Eternal Seeker is the reason to be playing the Kagu decks, honestly. So
the real big payoff here, we see start off on an ice from Sirius, and get a little Fate Weave action here. I'd be pretty surprised if we don't see a non-resource jump to the top for Sirius. He's already got 4 resources in his opening hand. See a draw for the Kagu player. Probably see a slow shard out of them. They have a pretty good curve on the Kagu side of the table here. If they hit a non-slow shard, they can go Emperor's Lackey, which is a 4/4 on 2 into Underworld Crusader. One thing worth noting for the newer Hexers out there is that while both players have Underworld Crusaders, this is a customizable card, so it uses hex socketing mechanics. So the Underworld Crusaders are slightly different on each side of the table. So because Guard's decks is a little bit more defensive, their Underworld Crusaders get socketed with the Wild Sky Guard and Steadfast Gem here, whereas the more aggressive Redlings deck has their Crusader socketed with the Blood Speed Gem. Yeah. So even though the same card names, a little bit different effects. Ooh, and actually, I really like this. So I said I'd be kind of surprised if we saw a resource come to the top of Sirius deck, and he did actually Fate Weave a resource there. And the reason for that is 2 of his other resources were slow shards, right? So the fact that he had a non-slow shard here lets him curve this web spawn into an Underworld Crusader. Yeah,
it kind of turns the Necropolis coin into better utility down the line, and the Ruby Ice is always going to find a non-resource. So it's pretty good here. You're going to be able to curve out pretty nicely. So that's a nice one, too.
Boltwing Phoenix is really powerful, too, because Gar's passed here, leaving 2 resources up with 2 blood thresholds explicitly. So that very likely means that we're representing some kind of removal, whether a rock cast or a strangle. Yep. Boltwing Phoenix is a really powerful, resilient threat. So this is a 2/2 with flight and speed. Then when it dies, you get a couple of choices here. Either you can deal damage to everything on your opponent's board, or you can have this come back to your hand and have it get bigger and increase in cost. We'll see the Boltwing Phoenix come down. I wouldn't be too surprised here to see the Strangle eat the web spawn, most likely.
Yeah.
Which is the line that we see, because killing the Boltwing Phoenix isn't particularly appealing because it's just going to come back.
Yeah, and from experience in the Slagpot deck, the Wicked Web Spawn is probably it's an unassuming card, but it's one of your best cards because it lets you go wide and it lets you play around single targeted removal cards such as Strangle and Hero Fall, stuff like that.
So the Web Spawn here, you can see whenever you use the Scrounge mechanic, you summon the Dreadlings, which are kind of like one of the engines in the Redlings deck. While we don't have Lasgar's Vengeance to tick down anymore, you do have cards like Commander Prompt that are payoffs for it, or say, I believe they play Zanya.
Yeah, say we've seen some decks playing Zanya Bloodfist, so...
I see an Underworld Crusader come out here for the Redlings player. I mean, would you offer the trade here?
Yeah, almost certainly, because I think it's better to get that card, the Emperor's Lackey, off the table, and also to gas back up with the Underworld Crusader.
Yeah, because the Underworld Crusader, notably, in addition to having the customizable, when it dies, the controller loses 2 life and draws 2 cards.
I think this also signifies, if you're going to make the Dreadling here, I think it also signifies that they're coming in. Yeah.
So you're getting the extra point of damage from the Dreadling. And this way here, I like this from Sirius because this puts 3 troops notably in the crypt, which means if he draws a Blamsmith, he's going to be able to scrounge that as a 5/5. You see Kagu Champion Power get activated there, which for 3 charges flips the bottom 3 cards from their deck into their discard pile, lets them draw another one.
Boy, that's pretty good.
The Skyguard Steadfast is really going to put a damper on this Boltwing Phoenix here. We know they picked up another Wicked Web Spawn, and those draws off of the Underworld Crusader picked up a Dreadling Enabler.
Yeah, I picked up a Dread Apprentice and the Zanya Bloodfist, which we alluded to earlier, which is kind of an off card for some of these Redlings lists. But it's kind of like the one of the de facto replacements for Lasgar's Vengeance.
Okay, so we have here the Matriarch of the Flames coming in and the Ruby Ice coming down, which is going to go ahead and take our Matriarch of the Flames from a 3/3 to a 4/4. And do you offer the trade this time?
Yeah, I think if you did it last time, it's going to happen again here.
Okay. This time, the Underworld Crusader went ahead and traded, and you see cards drawn from the Kagu side. But again, the Redlings deck is the aggressive deck, so you want to be pressuring their life total. So the Phoenix got a hit in there, and the Underworld Crusader drained them for 2.
Yeah.
All right. So anywho, we see a resource come down. Ooh, we have Rotten Rancor here. So this is one of the payoffs for playing these powerful cards here. So Rotten Rancor returns a troop from the crypt to play and has it battle an opposing troop.
Yeah, it's pretty big beating here for the Redlings deck. So it's a removal spell plus, again, we have the 4/4 Skyguard Steadfast Crusader is back on the table. It's a pretty difficult card to deal with from Slagpod deck.
We talked about Zania a little bit earlier. Let's take a look at her now. So this is a 1/4 for 4 that gets powered up whenever someone's attacking. If she's attacking, she's making the troops in your hand get better with Rage 1. And whenever she's in your hand, if you have a troop attack on the board, she gains Rage herself. So we see she's got Rage 2 already because 2 troops attacked last turn. So when the Dreadlings come down this next turn, we're going to see a lot of rage come up in here. You'll see the Boltwing Phoenix trigger there finished off the Underworld Crusader as opposed to bringing the Boltwing back to Sirius's hand. And I really like that from Sirius's side. It allows him to set up a pretty big Dreadling attack here that can't be blocked.
Yeah, this is a good turn here.
So we see 2 Dreadlings get scrounged here, and then so 2 of these Dreadlings get created from Wicked Web Spawn, and then 3 more get created from Dread Apprentice. And you see this Zania just lights up red there, and she's all the way up to Rage 7. So that means when this card attacks, it's going to come across as an 8-ball.
Yeah, she's going to be tough to deal with.
And you can see Gar is down to 5 health here. So
yeah, pretty precarious spot here, honestly. And then there's another, I don't know if there's a way really to dig out of this. It's going to be pretty tough, I think, from Gar's side. He has no more removal in hand, other than, obviously, the Seeker, but it's going to be a little bit short, I think.
And, importantly, this Zania has Crush.
Yeah, that's the beating.
You can't just chump block this Zania with this Battle Hopper. You've got to get a lot of bodies in the way to not die to this this Crush power. You'll note here that Sirius did not play a 6th resource last turn, so we're holding that Necropolis coin as an extra 2. So Gar's at a virtual 3 here.
Yeah, Gar's in a bunch of trouble here.
I think the Zania is just going to be lethal when it comes across, right?
Yeah, and we hit
the Cryptus too. So
we also have
champion
Dreadlings
power.
Also, yep.
And the Cryptus lets him cycle the coin in the same turn as well.
You have the writing all but on the wall for this one here.
See Zania come down. Probably see the champion power activate here. Yep. So Slagpot champion power. Let's take a look at that. We haven't looked at that yet today. So for 3 charges, it summons a Dreadling for each different race among Underworld troops you control. So you can see here we have a Wicked Web Spawn that's a Venom, and we have a Dread Apprentice that's a Shinhair. So those are 2 different Underworld races.
Yep.
Zania comes across, jumps up to 8 power with Crush, and that's gonna be all she wrote here for the. Let's go back to the booth here. So the Redlings deck again. Like we lost Lasgar's Vengeance as a sweeper, but we still have these Zanias to get rewarded for the assault mechanic. And,
it's a pretty impressive draw, honestly, because there was I think he beat 3 Crusaders altogether. There was 2, and then 1 got Rotten Rancor back. So and that card is really a pain to deal with, especially if you have your deck with Boltwing Phoenix in it. So it's pretty impressive to get through a card like that, honestly, as the.
It is worth noting the Kagu player did not have their Seeker to Rotten Rancor, right?
Yeah.
Like, we might have had a little bit different story had we had a 5/5 that got to void things.
Sure.
So, at any rate, Sirius is a player that's had a lot of success in these Hex 1Ks. He also played in their 100K Invitational they had back in 2015. So let's take a little bit more about Sirius before we head into our second game here. Hit show current slide. There you go. All right, so Sirius, we can see the 29-year-old from France, member of Team Seafood Restaurant.
Interesting name.
loves brewing. Do you think that means decks or like craft beer?
It's probably both, honestly. The TCG community, probably both, if I had to guess. Yeah.
We have an English-German teacher from France.
English-German teacher from France.
Okay, and a father...
Is that on the bingo? Is that on the bingo sheet at all, or not? It's not? Okay.
Oh, geez, did I cover any? I forgot about my bingo.
Yeah, we need to take a look. I know if a bunch of you guys are playing at home, make sure to check out your bingo cards and make sure to holler at us.
On my Twitter. And anywho, and finally is a father in a full house with 2 girls, and he has 5 bash top 8s already. And so there haven't been that many hex bashes yet. Right? Yeah, that's like, there's only been like 12 of these things. So Sirius has top 8'd like, I don't even know if he's played in all of them. So he's probably top 8'd close to half of these that he's played in.
It's pretty good.
Alrighty, and let's go ahead and head back on down to our gameplay for the second game. Sirius is going to be on the top here, and he's won 1 game so far. And we'll see if Gar can go ahead and tie it up being on the play here. Being on the play is a big deal from the mid-range side of this matchup.
And Gar honestly didn't find too much removal. Just the 1 strangle, I think, was the one. So maybe need a little more removal. This hand's pretty...
These are kind of medium hands on both sides of the table right here. So would you keep if you're on either side, really?
On the Kagu side, I don't think I would keep that. Like I said, you're probably looking for some of your reserve cards. Maybe has cheap shots, things like that, or at least some removal. I don't know. It's kind of close.
Both players is kept. I mean, the Kagu hand is the upside of like having an ice, and this coin can cycle.
Yeah,
right?
The coin can draw a new card.
So we are going to guarantee, and I guess the 4/4 on 2 isn't that bad, right? Like it's a pretty sizable roadblock.
Yeah, Emperor's Lackey is probably one of the better cards to have. There we go.
Sirius hit one of his best draws there on the first turn, a 1-drop in this hand that wasn't going to be doing anything until turn 3. So that's pretty fantastic. We see Acolyte of Shoku get added to Gar's hand here, and I really like leading on this because it sets us up for the double 2-drop turn on.
Yeah, Acolyte of Shoku is another one of the underrated cards in the Kagu deck. Like you can see here, at the start of your turn, you gain an extra resource, so you're quicker. In the Kagu deck is a little bit clunky as it seems.
The deck full of 5s and 7 drops, it's a clunky.
Odd, yeah. So you're able to you can enable some of these 2 spell turns, such as, like you said, the Cottontail Explorer followed by the Emperor's Lackey is going to be pretty good start here. Or the coin could even be cycled. There's tons of different options here with the Acolyte.
See, another 1-drop come off the top for Sirius. That being said, this 0-3 is doing a good job of brickwalling here. And I like the free attack, and I like the free block on the other side of the table, too.
Speaking of cheating things in, now we get to... Probably making a rabbit here.
Yeah, I think I like making a rabbit. It makes our Ruiner Hierophant a little bit larger. So
that's a sweet turn.
That is a very good turn. So we were able to play the Ruiner Hierophant out before we played our 3rd resource because of the Acolyte of Shoku, and then we were able to deploy a Battle Hopper as well.
Funny. Necrotic.
We see a card that's been here since Sirius Opener really quick. Culmination of Blood. This is a really powerful card in these mid-range matchups. So it starts as a 10 cost, and it says... for every card, and every troop in every crypt, it gets -1 cost, and it makes your opponent bin their entire hand.
Yeah, it's very good, especially with the Ivan Slagpot power that we see here, as you said, making the Dreadlings, which...
Yep. We get a chump block here on the Battle Hopper as well, and I like that chump block from Gar's side. Like, you want to save, like, gaining 4 points of health with that is pretty good, and now this culmination's down to an 8 cost here.
Yeah, jumping also, if you have cards like Pav Yazakan, which you see there, also turns it on a little bit sooner, hopefully.
We see a Kagu activation happen here, flip over a couple of cards, puts another troop in the bin, and returns a Cottontail Explorer to the hand for Gar. Paw of Yazukan got picked up here, and this is a card that's like kind of twofold, right? Because the scrounge mechanic takes troops out of the crypt, so it's going to make the culmination and blood a little bit worse against you, and it also is going to let them take some of the threat off the table.
Yeah, this looks like to be a pretty good turn here for Gar. Still has 4 resources available for the turn.
See, our Cottontail Explorers come out, flip a shard over, and we flipped another troop into the bin. So there's
very good for
4 troops. So this culmination currently costs 6, looks like.
Yeah, notably the Paul Yazakan scrounge is now turned on with the 3rd troop hit in the crypt here.
I like Gar getting aggressive here.
Yeah,
we have this 4/4 in play, and this 4/4 in a pinch can even sacrifice this Ruiner Hierophant that's socketed with 2 gems that make more troops. So in the event that Gar does need more things back on defense, he's able to make those thanks to the Emperor's Lackey.
Yeah, just coming in.
Crusader comes across again here. Probably see some eats and some jump blocks. I think Sirius is trying to force this culmination down too.
Yeah.
So we'll see here. If two troops enter crypts here, Sirius is going to get to pull the trigger on this culmination.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty scary here. This is definitely the check to see if you are paying attention to how many troops are in the crypt here. Yeah.
And we see here, I like this block
this is very good.
From Gar. Gar is on point here. They've recognized how many troops are in the bin. You can see this culmination still costs 5, which is more resources than Sirius has. They had a free block on this 2-1, and they chose not to take it. Kind of controlling. And now their Paw of Yez. Oh,
that's
geez.
super good.
That is really good. So this Paw of Yezukan gets to take 3 troops out of the bin, making this culmination even harder to cast.
Yep.
The Gemborn Prowler here gets to clean up
the Underworld Crusader. Yeah, yep. Yes. That was a pretty good draw. And like you can see the Acolyte of Shoku, although it's just an 0-3, is doing a ton of work here. We've been able to power out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you could see Gar's been using all of their resources every single turn,
yeah.
even that extra one. So they'd be a lot further behind if they didn't have the extra tempo they've gained from having more resources than their opponent.
This is a really nasty turn here.
Worth noting, the Gemborn Prowler voids as well. So in addition to not triggering the Death Cry on this Underworld Crusader, they're also going to not get that troop into the bin for the culmination.
Yeah, I believe this culmination is back up to I think it's back to like 7 or 8. Yeah.
Really pretty high up there. And again, you can see Gar applying pressure. Again, I really like this this pressure being applied here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
See a resource come down for Sirius. They have Boltwing Phoenix and Dread Prince here. It's kind of curious that we see Sirius enter combat and not play either of the 3 drops. Maybe they were hoping again that these troops would trade and then they'd be able to play the culmination.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thought on the mind. Sirius is in pretty big trouble here, though.
Yeah, this that one good.
That could be the end.
Hero fall here, powerful piece removal. In addition to destroying the troop in play, it also takes all copies of that troop out of their hand and deck. And while none of these troops are particularly threatening on Sirius' side of the board, just getting rid of one of them means that you can apply more pressure and end this game faster.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see doesn't look like it. I'm not sure. I wonder if we're going to see an Acolyte of Shoku activation here.
Oh, it's also worth noting this Gemborn Prowler has speed, right? So this Gemborn Prowler gains the socketed abilities of the card that it eats. So we can see this. Yeah, I like this.
This is great.
Let's vroom off to the races here.
Yeah, we're rumbling.
The Cottontail Explorer being played out here means we could sacrifice to make this Emperor's Lackey a 4/4 as well.
Yeah, this is pretty solid here. Yeah, this is just this game has been basically a Kagalichu lesson 101, basically.
Play quality cards ahead of curve even because of the Acolyte of Shoku and just out quality your opponent.
Yep.
And again, one of the big advantages to being on the play in a matchup like this is your health total is not under pressure, so you're able to set up and use your quality cards, really leverage a game win with them.
Yeah, this is a pretty big attack. We're gonna have lots of chumping going on here. And obviously, you can tell as the aggressive deck being on the back foot here is pretty bad.
And now, it won't be too surprised if Sirius is able to catch their culmination in blood next turn, but there's a Runner Hierophant in play, right? So you want to get your culminations off before the mid-range deck is able to get ahead of you on board.
Yeah.
See a sacrifice from the Emperor's Lackey as predicted. Wouldn't be too surprised to see this Boltwing Phoenix deal damage to finish off the Lackey.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to get 3 cards out of it.
Yeah, it's going to finish off all of these. So the Boltwing Phoenix will trigger and we'll clean up all these things that have 1 and 2 defense left.
So now we have to try and beat this. Runner Hierophant is,
Well, culmination is free.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone was wondering.
So, Sirius has some pretty live draws. If Sirius has Gemborn Prowlers,
that'd be the one.
That's the one big one.
Yep. So we get the cards out of hand. We drew a Zania Bloodfist. So this Dread Apprentice gets to scrounge here and create 3 attackers for the turn.
Yeah.
And looks like Sirius has had enough.
He was dead to the Acolyte of Shoku was going to activate a couple times.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So the Acolyte, we're just dead on board because of the Acolyte of Shoku activation. That makes a lot of sense here. We're gonna try and tilt this webcam slightly to pivot it and see, does it cut the green screen right away?
The green screen right away. We have to actually move the green screen if we don't fix it.
I think it's all the way against the wall. Yeah. All right, Matt's just we're gonna
cuddle up a little. We're gonna cuddle up a little bit.
I'll cuddle up slightly.
That's fine.
We can fix it in different
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
We can just slide all this to the right. All right. At any rate, let's head on down to the third and final game here.
I'm excited. It's been a good one so far.
So players are now 1-1. See, Sirius gets to be on the play for this game, which is a pretty big deal. Easy, quick redraw there from Sirius' side into a pretty good 6, right?
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little slow, but we're going to play these Graven Geist both out on the second turn.
Okay, we could also possibly see the Emperor's Lackey.
Yeah,
right?
the Emperor's Lackey. There's a lot going on
This
here.
ice is going to guarantee a third resource, so if it gets an on-slow shard, we get to go Lackey into Crusader.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate this hand on Sirius's end. Like I said, you're going to be playing slightly off curve in quotes, I guess.
Because you're the one drop one, yeah.
But it's pretty powerful, honestly. So the flight is a pretty big deal. We talked about how the Kagu deck gummed up to ground really, really quickly that game, and they need things like Underworld Crusader with the Skyguard gem in it in order to deal with things like Graven Geist, for example. So Graven Geist can do a lot of work really quickly.
On the Kaigalichu side, their hand's pretty reasonable. They've got turn 2 Cottontail into turn 3, potentially Crusader or Hero Fall.
Yeah.
But again, being on the play is a pretty big leg up for the aggressive deck. And we hit our third shard on time, which is good for the Kaigalichu player.
Yep. Yeah, pretty good stuff for just getting out the 4/4 I'm okay with also.
We hit our third non-slow shard here, so we're going to be able to go Crusader into hit our champion power, make 2 guys, and again, Gar doesn't have. Oh, we picked up a Gemborn Prowler on Gar's side of the table.
That's pretty good.
So do you?
Yeah,
I like this from Gar. Like, you got to remember when we're watching a game like this, it's pretty easy to go, oh, you should hold up the Gemborn Prowler, but like, there's no guarantee that Sirius has the Underworld Crusader.
Definitely.
Here.
Definitely.
All right, we hit another resource here. And this is a really small thing from Sirius, but you'll note that he played the Blood Shard first there, and that's important because...
Matriarch of Flame.
Matriarch of the Flames. So Matriarch of the Flames cares about these Ruby Shards being played out, so if you hold... It's a really small edge. There's probably only 1, maybe 2 Matriarchs in Sirius's deck, but it's a pretty, leverage those small advantages.
It is a small edge you have to be able to pick up on as the Slagpod player.
Yes. I like the champion activation here, too. It makes Emperor's Lackey jump back up to a 4/4, and it also puts 2 troops in our crypt for these Graven Guys.
Yeah, Graven Guys is going to be pretty powerful here.
See, Cottontail Explorer hop in front of the bus. Redling gets sacrificed, so it was going to go down anyways.
Yep.
Again, so Gar can use their Crusader, their Gemborn Prowler to get rid of the Crusader, but Sirius still has a 4/4 in play then, or a 3/3 soon to be.
Yeah. I think I actually I'm not sure. This is a pretty tough turn from the Kagu side. I don't know, what would you do? Do you have any thoughts on that one?
So we see Gar play their non-slow resource out, which implies to me that we're playing a 3-drop this turn, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like.
This must be okay. So we're playing a Crusader, and we're going to attempt to eat the Lackey or trade with their Crusader.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Well, that's really good.
That's a pretty good hit. I guess we don't have that many troops in our bin yet, right?
Yeah, but we're going to be able to attack this turn. And, I think you're just going full out.
Okay, and then we can play this Blamsmith post-combat.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good.
Okay, so we're going to see there, and I'm assuming we're going to see this Graven Guy sacrifice. Yeah, I like this from Sirius, and again, this puts 4 troops in the bin for Sirius. The Gar gets to gas back up, but it's the cost of some health points.
Yeah, and Gar has a clean board again, and this Graven Geist, like I said, is going to pick up pretty quickly. The Blamsmith is going to be huge.
And the Graven Geist gets large. So Graven Geist here
pump up.
Says every time a troop leaves your crypt, this gets +1 power permanently. So this Blamsmith's going to come down with Scrounge 3 and be a 6/5.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty large.
And then this Graven Geist is going to have 4 points of power in the air. And Gar has all these cards in hand, but I don't know that we have enough health points to...
Pretty tough.
Yep, all right. We need a Strangle here from Gar's side of the table pretty badly.
Another Gemborn Prowler? Is that what
that is? Okay, that
Wow.
That's a good pickup. So I mentioned that we wanted to see a Strangle because it's really important that Gar is able to impact the board in 2 different ways this turn.
Yeah.
So Gemborn Prowler is going to be able to axe a Blamesmith, and this other Gemborn Prowler is going to be able to axe a Underworld Crusader here.
Could still be in the game here.
Which does leave Sirius with 4 power and Gar's only at 10, so Gar is going to be going down to 6 here. Another Underworld Crusader off the top for Sirius. That on the list of good draws, I think that one was
Pretty solid. Yeah, pretty solid.
We see this Gemborn Prowler eat this one, but Gar's going down to 2 here.
Boy, that was a hot rip.
And this makes Gar's Crusaders a liability now because you can't trade them in if we draw a Crusader.
We drew one anyways,
we picked up a copy of Hero Fall there, it looks like. Yeah, flipped a Rotten Rancor, some other things here, and I believe the writing is just on the wall for Gar.
Yeah, not good.
See if they've got any kind of way out here.
Man, that was pretty impressive stuff from the Slag Pod deck, though.
Yeah, and again, just like doing what the aggressive deck wants to do. This Kagu deck is pretty unbeatable in the mid to late game, but if you can get under it, you can really punish what it has going on.
I like how we can see here the Slag Pod deck is left with exactly 0 cards left in their hand.
well, we've got 2 cards sitting in play here, okay?
Kagu deck is stuck with 9, which is basically where you want to be as the aggressive Slag Pod deck.
All right, and so it was a pretty great first match. Sirius off to a 1-0 start in our 6-round bash day. We have 62 competitors. We'll see if Sirius is going to be able to add a 6th bash top 8 to their thing. And we'll be back in a little bit with another round. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to be covering the entire bash today. Thanks for hanging out.